Full fashion increases are usually made by using a two-pronged tool to move the two edge stitches out by one needle, and then using a single prong to lift up the purl bar of an adjacent stitch to hang it on the empty needle so that you don't have an eyelet or a hole forming there. But there's a slightly faster, more streamlined way to do this. Use a three-pronged tool instead. Hook it on to just the two outer stitches, leaving that left prong free. And when you push back in to have the stitches slide onto the tool, catch that left prong right up underneath the purl bar at the same time. And then move all three stitches over in one smooth motion. So once again, tip the tool slightly to the right so it only catches the first two needles. Push in and catch that third bar right there. And then move over and hang all three stitches onto the needles at the same time. While we're talking about full fashion shaping, this is a good time to mention the two-step decrease. Normally, if you do a full fashion decrease and you move three stitches over by one needle, the third stitch, the innermost stitch of the three, is going to end up on the back of that stitch. So the new third stitch is the one that was on that needle to begin with. The rule always being that what's on the needle first is what shows on the knit side. So to make sure that this stitch is always the third stitch on the edge of the fabric, I'm going to move the fourth stitch onto the third needle and then move all three of those stitches over by one. Once again, the fourth stitch goes behind the third stitch, and then all three stitches are moved in. This is going to create a very, very different edge than I would get if I just keep moving the three edge stitches in by one needle, because in that case the edge, the third stitch, changes every time I move the stitches over. In this case, it's always the same third stitch with the fourth stitch being hidden behind it. It's an important rule to remember with any kind of hand manipulations. What's on the needle first is always what will show on the knit side of the fabric. In this case, the third stitch is always going to be right there on the front. Instead of flipping the tool from end to end, you can streamline this whole process by using the third prong to remove the fourth stitch from the needle, then remove the first three stitches and move everything in together. Because you moved the fourth stitch first, it sits behind the third stitch and you'll get a beautiful two-step decrease. Much quicker, more streamlined. Fourth stitch, first three, and then move them in.